Well, thank you very much. Now, did he say this was your biggest crowd of the weekend? I don't know. Because he was supposed to. You know, I said, who's got the biggest crowd? They said, you do by far, Mr. Trump. And I said, well, are you going to announce it? And the woman said, yes, I'm doing the work. But that's not a woman that just announced, so he didn't know this. But this is a great group. You know what I liked about this group? They sent out information last week. And I actually asked, can I say this? And they said, yes, I was shocked. That Donald Trump called and asked to be here. He really wants to be here badly. And anybody that wants to come, Mr. Trump will be here at Mr. Trump's request. I said, I don't know, who are these people? Who are they? And I said, no, you called and you asked. And they said, that's right. I said, I want a letter of apology. And they gave it to me. That means they're honorable, semi-honorable, right? Pretty good. Semi-honorable is better than most politicians, let's face it. But it is an honor to be here, and I have so many different friends in the audience. And I know this is a very conservative group, it's a very libertarian group. You don't know what the hell you're talking to in this group. And I said, good, we have a lot of libertarians. Well, I happen to like Rand Paul. I really do. I actually like him. I got to know him a little bit over the last year, and he's a good guy. And we actually played a round of golf, and he really is a very nice guy. And I thought I would say that, and I can tell you, so many of us, and so many, I know half of the people, and so many of us believe in the same thing. Yesterday, I had an event that was amazing, and beautiful, and sad. And a lot of you watched it. It was on live television. It was covered live. And this is parents who lost their children to illegal immigrants. In some cases, they were run over by vehicles and horribly run over. In other cases, they were shot, just shot for no reason whatsoever, walking down the street. No reason. And it was an amazing thing, and everybody that was there, reporters, hardened, veteran reporters, were literally sitting in their chairs, and there were tears coming down their eyes. And I didn't know that I'd be so much on this. This has become a movement. You know, a lot of people called me from New York today, veterans, and they said, this is more than about you, Donald. This has become a movement. Because people don't know what's happening. They just don't know. And I said, what do you mean, and how do you define movement? When I leave here, I get on the plane and I go to Phoenix, Arizona. Good place, right? It is a good, I love it. And we originally scheduled a couple of weeks ago. I was going to talk in front of 400 to 500 people at the Biltmore Hotel. And then about 3 days ago, we got a call from the Biltmore begging us not to be there. Begging us. And that doesn't happen too often. And they said, we are going to be overrun with people in support. Total support. They said thousands of people are calling, and they all want, and we can't handle it. It's a big hotel, a very big ballroom. And we can't handle it. So we started scrambling, and I thought probably I'd have to go outside, and if it's a windy day, my hair will be blowing up, but it is my hair, that's a good thing. It is my hair. You can always tell a dishonest reporter when they say, you know, the other day, actually, a great story, but they said, but he wears the worst hairpiece I've ever seen. I said, I can't even give anybody that story, but that wasn't true. So I thought my hair would be blowing all over the place, because we have about 10,000 people. And it's an amazing thing that's happening. It's an amazing thing that's happening all over the country. And for a while, as you know, they were saying, oh, Trump won't run. There's no way he's going to run. Why would he run? He's not going to run. Some people said, why would I run? Because I have a nice life, I have a great company, it's just things are sort of easy. And other people said, oh, he'll never want to show his financials. Or he'll never want to do this or that. He'll never run. So then I announced him. Then I wasn't going to file my FEC original filing. Because when you do that, you're making a very big step. And I filed it. And then they had, oh, but he'll never put in his financials. Because maybe he's not as rich as people think. Not that it matters, but I'm much richer. And you'll see that next week. No, you'll see. I mean, you know, it's like crazy. So, it is true. I've heard that, right? He'll never file. These guys, they sit up there. Why he'll never file? Because he doesn't want to show that he's not as rich. And I sort of said to myself, gee, I want to file because I want to show that I'm much, much richer than what they say. I'm a private person. Nobody knows. And the reason I bring that up, and it's important because it's the kind of thinking. I built a great company. Low debt, great cash flow. You're going to see it all next week. But a great company. And it's the kind of thinking that we need in this country. I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it from, oh gee, I made money. I'm doing it because it's the kind of mindset that we need in the United States. Our trade deals are incompetent, done by incompetent people. We have incompetent leadership. And whether you're on the Libertarian side, and by the way, some incredible points they make, or the very conservative side, or the Tea Party people who I think have been totally disparaged for years, and nobody knows the power of the Tea Party. Nobody knows that. I only say that because the Tea Party knows me, you know, but it's true. The Tea Party has such power, and they get trivialized. They're always trivialized, and nobody knows the power. That's what's happened a little bit with me, because people hear what I'm saying, and they believe it. Strong military, take care of our vets. Our vets are treated like third-class citizens. What you hear. I've met with a lot of veterans groups where they'll go to a hospital. By the way, in some cases, they'll build a new hospital for $1.5 billion. You can build 7 hospitals, 10 hospitals for that, if you knew what you were doing. And they'll get there, and they'll wait in a reception area for 4 or 5 days before they even get to see a doctor. They wait for 4 or 5 days. We have to take care of our military. We have to take care of our vets. We have to end Obamacare and come up with something that's much better. We can repeal it. We can come up. I have ideas of that so much better. Not only that, less expensive for the country and much better for the people. Because Obamacare is a disaster. You know, it doesn't kick in until 16, really kick in. The cost is astronomical. Doctors are going to be leaving like all over the place. They're already leaving the profession. I have a friend who's a doctor. He said, Donald, I'm going to be retiring. So the guy's like 50. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. He said, I have more accountants working for me than I have nurses. It's a real problem. But when you look at what's going on with the country, and I say it all the time, we don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories. We used to be great. And my whole theme is make America great again. It's what it is. We have to. But you can't be great if you don't have a border. You can't. No matter what you do. And you can't be great if China's taking all our jobs. You know, we've rebuilt China. China's made so much money. We have such power over China, but we have leaders that don't know what they're doing. I mean, we have trade deals with China, with Mexico, with Japan. In Japan, boats come, the biggest boats I've ever seen. I just left Los Angeles. The biggest boats I've ever seen. Thousands of cars, millions of cars coming in. We get nothing. We get cars. We want to send rice. We want to send corn. They have protesters. We don't send. The imbalance of these things. I mean, they send a car, and we send corn. Believe me. It's a lot of corn to make up for a car. And they won't even take our product. And then we think that we're not dealing from strength. We have all the strength. With China, a friend of mine who's a manufacturer says it's impossible to deal with them. He's a great manufacturer. Smart, tough, makes an incredible product. He said, I can't get the product in. And when I do, they charge me a surtax. I said, what is it? How much? 42%. I said, you gotta be kidding. This is a great story. He goes, oh, don't get me involved. I don't want to be involved. They don't want to be involved. But they charge you a surtax. We don't charge surtax. They manipulate the hell out of their currency. And by the way, I love China. I sell apartments for 10, 15, 25 million from people from China. The largest bank in the world is from China. They're my tenant in one of my buildings. They're my tenant. I mean, I love China. True. How can you not love China when they pay me? I own a big chunk of the Bank of America in Bank of America building. Nobody knows this. Nobody knows what I own. You know, Forbes, they write stories, they have no idea. They have no idea. I love China. I love Mexico. I tell everybody. And I love the Mexican people. And I've said it 100 times. Nobody ever says it. Nobody ever reports it. That's a problem. I love the Mexican people. I love the spirit of the Mexican people. I respect Mexico. The problem is their leaders are much smarter than our leaders. Their negotiators are much tougher than our negotiators. They're much more cunning. And they kill us at the border. People flow through like water. And they send people through that they don't want. You remember the old days with Castro when he emptied his jails and sent them all to the United States? Well, Mexico does similar things in a highly sophisticated and much more sophisticated manner. And we have people in the country. You look at Kate. You look at, I have a man who's a friend of mine, Jameel Shaw. He's with me. He came today. In fact, Jameel, where are you, Jameel? Is he around here someplace? One of the finest people. Where is Jameel? Will you come up here for a second? Jameel Shaw, do you know who it is? He was on one of the big shows on Fox and CNN the other day. I never met Jameel. And he was talking about Trump. And I said, oh, no, not more. How much can you take? And he was talking to me. And then I turned on the sound and he said, there's nobody that's helped us. We've been forgotten. The parents of children that have been killed by illegal immigrants. His son was killed by an illegal immigrant. And I said, what he is doing now is so important in honor of his son. Just say hello and just give just a brief description, Jameel, because it's so important. He was with me last night along with other parents of other children that were likewise killed. Please.
Real quick, I don't want to dominate Mr. Trump. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to, like Mr. Trump was saying, my son was murdered by someone illegally in the country. They were brought here when they were 4 years old, and then they were allowed to grow up like a wild animal, pretty much. My son was walking home from the mall one day, like everybody's kids do, go to the mall, on Sunday afternoon. We went to a football clinic in Pasadena on the way home. He asked, could he go? I said, yeah, let him go. I told him, be home by 7. Around 7 o'clock I called him. He said, I said, where are you? He said, be home soon, Dad. We caught the wrong bus, be there in about another hour. I said, I'll give you a call. I called him again an hour later, where you at? That's what I always say, where you at? He said, right around the corner, old man. I'll be there in a couple of minutes. And then I heard 2 gunshots. It was so crispy. It's like being in the gun range. If you've been in the gun range, you know that crispiness tells you how close, it is. And I already knew I had a feeling in my chest. And I went outside to see, and we were laying in the street dead, and found out that the guy who did it was released from the county jail, just like in San Francisco, on his 3rd gun charge. Now, you have somebody illegally in the country with 3 gun charges already. He's in jail now for battery on a peace officer, resisting assault with a deadly weapon. And they gave him 8 months in the county jail, then let him out 4 months early. The same day he got out, he had the Mexican mafia orders the Latino gang members to go out the same day and commit crimes so you won't be rehabilitated. So it's like an order. You have to go out the same day and commit crimes in the black neighborhood. So that was, my son walking home from the mall. They were coming into my neighborhood to visit a neighbor, saw my son, and ran right over there and killed him, just because he was there, and he had a guy in the back seat with him that was there just as a reporter to prove that he got out the car, shot him in the head with a big gun. He had a .45. You can imagine a .45. into a 17-year-old kid's head. You know, don't have a chance. He was shot in the stomach. According to the coroner, while he was laying on his back, he had his hands up, and they thought he was shot 3 times because his hand was just really damaged. He had a bullet wound in his stomach and in his head. And they found out, according to the coroner, that he was on his back like this, and he shot him through his hands into his head. You know, now that's the original hands up, don't shoot. You know, we hear the other stuff, you know what I mean? But that really happened. And that day, like Mr. Trump was saying, when I saw the TV, man, and everybody was calling my house, did you hear what Donald Trump just said? I was like, yeah, you know, I heard it, you know. And everybody was so happy. And, you know, my sister was saying for the first time, she saw a smile because I felt hope, you know. I knew there was change coming. Either way it go, people have to change if they want to compete with it, you know. You have to change. You can't keep the same path, you know. And Mr. Trump is willing to go out there and sacrifice, you know, his life, because like he said, he doesn't need money, he doesn't need power, he's powerful already, he has a name, he has what he needs, but he loves America, and I saw that, I could tell, that he loves America. Why else would he be doing this, you know? He loves America, he wants to make it good again, and I tell people all the time, you know, I trust Donald Trump, because if he can put himself out there like that for, you know, I just say for black people, because a lot of the Latino and black crime is happening in the black community. It was sort of transformed. It used to be all black, now it's all Latino, so we're pretty much, you know, in a different land, so to speak. And if he can put himself out for us, then I can trust him and everything else. It's like your dad. You know, your dad tell you, don't do this, don't do that. And you know, you trust him that he knows what's good for you, you know. And I see him almost like a dad. Like I said last night, we're almost the same age, so I can't really call him my dad, you know. But he's the kind of man that you would want to be your dad, you know, successful. He's a loving guy. I mean, come on, you see him on TV, you're fired, but you see him in real life. You know? He's a nice guy, you know. I just learned that myself. I tell everybody, you know. And in my community, you know, I have a lot of black friends, and of course, a lot of them are liberals. But they're ready to vote for Trump now. They're saying, I haven't voted in 10 years. I haven't voted in 10 years. I haven't voted, but I'm going to vote for Trump. And people feel energized. And we feel happy that someone is willing to go out there and put himself out there for America. And you can trust him too.
Wow. His son